Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine. I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from my very first project through to now, where I've completed many projects. I have taken up spinning, which I'm very excited to say I have got back to, and yeah, I think we have a wonderful community over here. And it's lovely to welcome you if you're new, and if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for being a part of it and for coming back to keep me company. I hope this finds you very well. Little Audrey is sat opposite me. I'll try and get some footage of her swinging away on her little garden swing once I finish recording. And yeah, I've got myself a cup of tea today, but something slightly different. I had a hyper-focused morning, so I spent a lot of time on one project and I got quite deep into it. Not knitting, but knitting adjacent for sure. And my tea was brewing for nearly 2 hours. So it's a little bit late in the day for a tea for me. It's about 12:30 maybe. So I've just done a lightly infused green tea. And normally I would be able to tell, I hope you can't hear that background noise, but I thought it would be nice to try the mic outdoors and to sit outdoors. My housemate is home, working from home today, and I didn't want to be disturbing her inside, so that's part of the reason I'm out here, but also it's a beautiful day. Yeah, usually I would be able to give you lots of information about this tea, but if I'm honest, I made it fairly quickly and I can't remember what the tea is. It's in a packet that doesn't have English language on it. It's a beautiful long tea. It's not straight. It's a green tea. It's got a little bit of like dragon to it, but it's not an oolong, I don't think. But it's lovely. It's really lovely. Fruity. So yeah, I'll quickly run through what I'm wearing. I am wearing My Secret Little Crop by Jessie May. I wear this all the blooming time. I love it. I knitted this one using Drops Nepal. I find it's actually been fine all through the year so far. I am actually wearing a bralette underneath it for the first time in a long time. It was quite cold this morning and I thought this layered would be about right. And it is. It's starting to get a little bit warm. But yeah, I love these things. I wear them most days. If you've been here, you'll hear me talk about them, so I won't talk about them anymore, but do recommend. And then this is the Cherry by Midori Hirose, or Knit Midori Cafe, or Cafe Knit Midori. Can never get that in the right. But again, I really love this pattern. It's really adjustable. It's written for, I believe, worsted weight yarn. I've only knit it in mohair or a slightly thicker alpaca, but still a brushed fluffy yarn. This was my second version and perhaps my favourite. I knitted it shorter. I did the smaller balloon sleeves. I did not bind off for the bit here. There's a bind off and I think that gives you a more poofy arm. I didn't do that. And this is just Drops mohair in black, and then this was a yarn that I dyed myself called Space Tiger, which is inspired by the Iris Bandit song. There you go. That is all I'm wearing. Well, it's not all I'm wearing. I have got trousers on, promise, but they're not knitted. It's only a matter of time. Yeah. I have one finished object to share with you. And I'm going to try and be careful with this mic. Hopefully it's amazing and I don't have to panic anymore. But if you've been here for a while, again, you might have seen this before many a time, but it is my Varpu, which is a gorgeous pattern. It was in, I believe, a liner magazine. I bought the pattern separately. I just really liked the jumper when I saw it. It's, I believe, maybe a 10mm needle. It's big, oversized jumper, very simple drop shoulder. But this is the alpaca silk one that is knitted in drops that I knitted, I don't know how long ago now. Maybe it was a year and a half, maybe longer. But as you can probably see even from here, it's aging and it's had its wear and I will continue to wear it. But I really wanted to replace this and the cardigan version that I knitted. So I knitted a cardigan version. I think I spoke about this last episode if I'm not mistaken. But this is again the Varpu but just slightly modified. I adjusted the width of the sleeves. I turned it into a cardigan by, instead of casting on the total amount of stitches when you join the neck. So let's go through the construction quickly. So you knit the back and then you do one shoulder side on the front and then the other shoulder side on the front. So you've got the whole back and then you pick up here and do them increasing and then the other side increasing. And what you do with the jumper is you cast on, I don't know, let's say 12 stitches to join it in the front and then knit all the way across from the shoulder edge to shoulder edge until you join in the round for the underarm. I didn't do that. Where you would say cast on 12 stitches, I cast on 6 either side and then just knitted backwards and forwards the whole of the body. Boop, 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 boop. And then I picked up for the sleeves and knit it the same. So they are both knitted using drops, alpaca silk. I think this one I used one strand of drops Nepal. This was the alpaca held double. I love them. I wear them most days. Even to friends that come around, they ask about them and I really talk about them a lot. But it's just it's like the equivalent of a sweatshirt. You know, you just throw it on and it's comfortable. And for me, the loose gauge means that my body temperature can be kind of adjusted and maintained fairly quick, like easily. Again, that's why I wear a lot of these tops. They are quite warm but airy and easy to layer up, so I could quickly throw the cardigan or jumper over this and it wouldn't be an issue. And they're adding very little weight to my bag, which is also important as someone that sometimes likes to over prepare, you know, and I think living in the UK, that's something a lot of us do. Yeah, have another bit of tea. So nice. So getting to my finished object, I have knit another one. So these I will continue wearing, like I said. They will be in my wardrobe until they are falling apart, and probably after, to be honest. And if not, they'll get turned into cushions or something, because it's just lovely. It is very soft, but not as hard wearing as I am. So I've knitted this one using, again, drops mohair. I have, I think, a little bit more in my wool pantry, and then we'll see what happens. But it's so hardy. This is, I think, 2 years old now, and it's still going strong. I think there's a snag here, but I don't even know that's a snag. Maybe it's just me doing bad knitting, to be honest. But it still looks fresh. So I've used drops and then one strand of Woolly Knits 100% British wool cone. That's a mouthful today. Which is a fingering weight yarn. It's 100% British wool. It comes in a really good selection of colours. They even have a swatch card available for it, and I'm not sponsored or given yarn. I just really like it. It's affordable. I think I paid £5 for 125 grams. So I did a while back buy maybe 3 125 gram cones, and they've, you know, really lasted me. From memory, it's about 2,350 meters for 500 grams, so I'm not doing the maths live right now. But you get quite a good amount of yardage too. I promise you, I'm not drunk. So yeah, 1 strand of the mohair and 1 strand of the woolly knit throughout. I made minor adjustments just based on my preferences. I knit it using a smaller needle, the same as what I did there. I believe, no, that was, I used gauge size needle, I think, the jumper. Sorry, I'm pointing and you can't see the jumper, which I believe was 10mm, so the recommended needle. And I went down to an 8. I just wanted this to be a little bit tighter in the hope that it will last longer, but without being too dense. And I think that might have been about it. I might have added a few stitches here. I did no decreasing or anything for the sleeves this time. I don't even know that I changed needle size for the ribbing, apart from around the collar. And yeah, it's come out lovely. I will put it on for you in a bit, and hopefully now you'll be watching me wearing it. But it's a great pattern. There's quite a good range of sizes, I believe, from memory. It is oversized and very easy to adjust the length and of both the sleeves and the body. You could easily deepen or shorten the underarms as well to make it more fitted around the arms or looser. And if you wanted, you could easily, like I've done quite a few times, do a quick round of knit 2 togethers and create like a bell sleeve. It's a really beautiful pattern to just have as a basic, to be honest. And if you are a fairly new knitter or someone that's been nervous about garments, again, much like the cloud bow, this is a really good simple staple that knits up quite quickly, really quickly, let's face it. I think for me this was maybe 3 evenings, 4 evenings, but like I'm saying evenings just because we're imagining the evenings, but I actually took it on a long car journey and things. But it's a great pattern, and whilst I am talking about this and gushing, I will say that this lovely bag was from Maggie, who is the lovely Sonder Knitting podcast. It's amazing, worth listening to if you are into the knitting podcast, which if you're here, I assume you're either getting into them or you are familiar, and probably familiar with Maggie at this point. I've left this in the middle of the round row because I'm a naughty tinker, but this is the cardigan version. Again, I've made a few modifications to this version. I think I brought the neck in slightly, so there's fewer stitches on the neck. I've added a couple more stitches on the front than I did on that cardigan, and otherwise very much the same. I might knit this one longer so that it sits on my hip, not just below my waist, just a bit longer, but we'll see. I get a lot of wear from the one that I've already got, so my gut's telling me not to bother and to do the same thing, but I also feel like it might be nice to have a slightly longer cardigan, so we'll see what I do. But that's about 2 inches of the body. What I might do is pause and then do the sleeves, finish the sleeves, and then I can keep trying it on to see what length I really like rather than carrying on and just guessing. But that's coming along lovely, and I'm really enjoying knitting on them. I actually have spoken about this quite a bit recently, but I am trying to balance knitting a little bit now, and I think I found a really good sweet spot. For a long time, if you've been here for a while, again, I don't talk about it in too much depth. They're just like I've been saying, I don't want my past illness and illness in general to be my personality and all I talk about. But for a long time, I was knitting a lot, and everyone would always say, "Oh, you're knitting so fast," and it was purely that I was just knitting a lot. I knit very slowly if you watch me, or at least without any rushing. It's very I'm a bit like Johnny Cash when it comes to pacing, you know. He's just doing what he does. He's not rushing. This is just right. So where I've now got the energy and the ability, which I'm very grateful for. The birds sound amazing. Where are you? Oh, there. I think there's a little... I don't know what that was actually. Wren, maybe? Beautiful. Yeah, I'm just adding more, and for a while, it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying knitting, because I was, but there wasn't that same passion and excitement as I'd previously had. And I think just the first 6 months of this year, there was a sense of burnout, and and I feel like you probably have experienced it here. Like, I've tried to change it up a bit and be a bit more true, and I like the weekly format of sharing, so I will continue to do that. But like last week, if it doesn't feel right and I don't have much to share, I'm not going to worry about it. I just won't, and save it for this week and get to talk to you for maybe a bit longer, or a little bit more interesting than just... So yeah, I've not actually been doing too much else. Alex did buy me a base about a month ago, maybe. I'm not content really sharing this now, but I'll share because we're pals. And I've been really enjoying that. I am not very good. I don't expect to be very good, and wish so much that I picked it up years ago and had the bravery and not anxiety. I don't know why I've got such worry about it, but to do it sooner, because I'm really enjoying it. And an hour or half an hour or whatever it might be of my evening is taken by that rather than knitting, and it's really nice. And it's not that I'm because I'm knitting more again now because I had that step away from it, and I'm loving it. Like, I'm really enjoying knitting these, and I think actually this is the sort of knitting that I like. Mohair, we all knew this, but every time I pick up a mohair project or a lace project, or one that I guess might be seen as edgy, I don't know, I was talking about this the other day, it's not edgy, but it's a little bit not something you'd often, maybe you would in somewhere slightly off mainstream, or now because everywhere's picking up on it. Like, it's just a bit different, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, so that was a long waffle. Let's have a little Audrey break because... Hey, Trouble! You sweetheart! Huh? What are you doing? You're very sweet. Yes. You are very sweet. Yeah. So, share this one. A while ago, not very long ago, I managed to get a copy of this knitted Wild Animal Friends, which I feel like a lot of people have got the Knitting Animal Friends? Yeah, Knitted Animal Friends. It's a book by... I can't remember. What was the name of the author? Louise Crowther. And I do think it's quite popular. This one has a wonderful selection of creatures in it, from zebras to giraffes, to sloths, hippos, I think elephant, and lots of different outfits too. Very cute, very, very cute, and all of the pieces are interchangeable, so you could make up your own and use, different colours to create different creatures if you wanted. I'm currently knitting on Hugo the Zebra, which I'm affectionately calling Gary at the moment, and I've been really enjoying it actually. For a little while my fingers felt funny because of the base, and I felt really weird knitting on 2.75mm needles, which might be why I haven't done any sock knitting lately. But now my fingers are starting to feel better. Hopefully I can get back to sock knitting. I'm quite excited for it. And I am using the recommended yarn. I've changed the colours for the garments that I'm hoping to knit for the little Hugo, but otherwise I'm using the recommended yarn, which I'm going to say it wrong probably again, but I call it sheepies. This one is the colour Moonstone. I think it's 78% cotton and 22%. I should have been able to do that maths. 22% acrylic. It's really soft, it's going to last, and I really wanted to make it look just like the book did. And this one is called Onyx. But so far I've knitted quite a bit really since I last chatted with you. I've done the body, which looks very strange, but you can see it already wants to become the shape it's meant to be, which I think is quite amazing. I've done 2 little ears. I've left all these on so that I can hopefully use them to weave it together. I have done one arm and the head, which also really looks like what just wants to be the shape that it's meant to be, which is quite amazing, I think, considering it's not seamed or anything. I think knit at such a tight gauge. I think this is sport weight yarn on a 2.75mm needle. It gives it enough structure. Oh, what's this? Oh, and the tail. I've also knitted the tail. Yeah. I have mohair up my nose, something new. But it's been really fun. I think it's going to start, well, it's knitting itself really at the moment. I would say I've had to focus. Working from a book isn't something I often do, and I actually prefer it to knitting from a screen, but it means that I'm tallying things off, where normally I would just highlight, note where I am when I finish knitting. But I'm really enjoying it. It's taken me a little bit of time to find my flow with it, but I really have, and you are in the market for some cute creatures. This is great, and I think I'm hoping to knit another one for a friend, and I will probably check in with my lovely little sister to see if her little one might want one too, but it's just so fun. There's so many different outfits, like Theo. Look at his cool jacket and his denim jeans. Henry. So cute. I kind of want to do this in more like a red and white and do it like a vintage swimsuit. But yeah, really enjoying this. It's really nicely written. There is loads of, I think there's like 30 pages in the back of, maybe not that many. There's a good amount of pages at the back with the techniques, which I think is really nice. You've got it all here. You don't really need to refer to YouTube or anything. It's really good, and whew, it's starting to get warm, and hopefully you can see me because I can't see a thing. Should I admit that? Oh, how much mohair do you have to consume before you turn into a goat? Because I can see 2 strands in there, and I'm just putting more in. The tea can have that one. I feel like this is quite a lot, but not many projects, which is okay, right? I'm just being honest. So on Saturday, is that right? No, Friday. So Friday, Alex had the day off. He worked Saturday, and we ended up having to stay in, even though it was a glorious day, for the first half of the day. Ooh, let's wait until that goes, huh? Or an interlude. Yes. So, Virgin Media. yeah, a bit of a nightmare, but totally fine. And for the first time in a while, I got very excited and just really wanted to do some knitting. And I wanted something a bit more summery and lightweight that I could put in my bag when we went for our walk in the afternoon. Because whilst the Varpoo's easy enough, I just didn't really want such a big bag. I wanted one skein, no fuss. So I wound up this beautiful fibre from Nervous Fibre. Doesn't have a colourway on it, but it is the Merino DK base that is no longer stocked. Charlotte is amazing and has switched over to non-superwash. She's amazing. Charlotte is someone that I've met in real life, which makes my heart sing, and hope to again. We were at Slam Dunk Festival together apparently. Sadly, we didn't get to hang out. But this has been hanging up on my little wall. I have not loads, but I've got a little bit of yarn on show at all times. So I've got like 3 skeins hanging on a hook and a little bit in a basket, and then another basket. Just for inspiration, to keep me going, see if I get inspired. And this has been up there for 6 months since Christmas, and I just really wanted to try a new Jessie May pattern. I've got the framework bralette, which I love, but I wanted something a bit different. So I opted to get the contrast racer back bra. I'll put it on the screen. I've got to admit, my brain was not with it Friday, and it's probably not much better now. Hopefully it is. Hopefully I'm getting across. What I have done is, it is actually written to have a contrast hem, but instead I've done a provisional cast on using some leftover yarn. And what I intend on doing is finishing the item and then going in and knitting longer. I wanted to knit it to pattern, so I knew, but I'm about 95% sure I'm going to want to add some length. So it's more of a top than just a bralette. But I think I'm nearly ready to start dividing for the cups, and then, so you knit the cups and then it goes back and meets for a race back. Very cool if you ask me. I'm not doing any of the contrast. I only want to let this gorgeous fibre shine. I do think it's going to be lovely to wear because it's superwash and merino. I actually don't feel like I prefer superwash against my skin. I think I prefer non-superwash, to be honest, but it's going to be lovely. It's the softest merino. So yeah, quite enjoying it. It was very simple to knit so far. Some twisted rib, some normal rib, and then we get to do the fun shaping and things now, which I think is good that I had all of this time. So we also had, it's been very lovely. We've seen people and done some lovely things. Saturday Alex worked, so I had more of actually a knitting day, which is where I did the bulk of the little Gary, the zebra. But yesterday Alex had one of his band friends over, and I was helping out with some video stuff, and in between I was just knitting away on this, and it's kind of knitted itself. But I did stop because I got to the part where I think I need to just maybe read the pattern through and spend time making sure I'm doing it right, rather than, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and then being like, oh, I did that wrong. So yeah, I think I'll work on this afternoon, maybe, while I'm editing. Quite excited. But Charlotte does dye just beautiful yarn, and I keep eyeing up stuff, but I'm also using lovely stitch marker from Time Weaver, Nicole, who I absolutely just adore, super into. So very sadly, the audio on this went wrong. My phone was in the shade when I started recording and ended up in the sun, and it overheated, which is not very fun. And then I did re-record it, and the audio was terrible because the microphone had then run out of battery. So next week's going to be great, but for now I'm just going to talk about the last little thing I wanted to share through voiceover, which is kind of strange but nice. So the very sweet Brittany sent me very kindly a bat of her fibre. It is a gorgeous fibre that she blended specifically for me for making some no nylon socks. And I'm not sure if I spoke about this, but my hands are now ready to be playing with sock knitting again and slightly finer knitting. The base had been making my fingers feel a bit funny, but they're feeling good now, and this fibre is beautiful. It's called The Lights at Dusk, and there's about 100 grams of it, and I just can't believe the colours. It's just come out beautifully. So there is 20 grams of Icelandic. Most of this is from Canada too, close to where Brittany's from. 20 grams of Icelandic yarn from Melly Knits, 10 grams of mohair, of course, from Van Cleek Hill. There's 15 grams of a fibre from Alfie, a Shetland Jacob Cross, which is a dream blend if you don't mind me saying, from Lone Sequoia Ranch. There's also 15 grams of Navajo Churro from the same ranch, and 5 grams of Dorset from the same ranch, and then 20 grams of USA Cormo sourced in Canada, and then 15 grams of commercial merino silk that Brittany dyed herself. And I love it. The green in it has been speaking to me a lot lately. I don't know, sort of foresty and slimy greens have been quite my thing. But this was sent to me before I even had that as a thing, so I think maybe she instigated it or just knew. But I truly love it, and it feels gorgeous to spin with. I'll talk about this more next time because it feels weird doing it as a voiceover, really. But yeah, I'm doing quite a fine single ply at the moment, and then what I will do is do a chain ply. It's something I want to practice on before I chain this. I want this to be as good as I can possibly do it. I am spinning it very fine. I could maybe pre-draft a little bit more and make it finer, but I think it's about the sweet spot for me right now, and I'm loving spinning on it. This is my little wheel. She is a Pippi Polly. Affectionately, it seems to have taken the name Little Pip, which is quite cute, and she needs a good old oil, so hopefully next week I can show you a little bit more of how much further I've got along and talk to you a bit more in depth. But anyway, I hope you enjoy some footage of the lovely wedding we went to. Again, it's a real shame that the audio of me talking about this is gone, but I don't want to record it a third time. I feel like it might come out insincere or, but yeah, we had a wonderful weekend away, and it was just the most lovely wedding. Really beautiful people, both inside and out. The energy from everyone was so nice. All the families just got on. There was a sauna in our apartment, which was absolutely nuts, like mind-blowing. And if you've been here for a while, you might know that I used sauna as kind of a therapy for healing, and tell you what, it's just as healing now. I feel really good for having been in it. And if you are interested in that sort of thing, Rhonda Patrick, who is foundmyfitness.com or foundmyfitness on Instagram, is amazing. She's a microbiologist that talks about really practical, most human science is practical, but what you can do to sort of find your own fitness, whether that's food or exercise or movements or therapies. Super interesting, and I love it. But anyway, and yeah, I find this strange when you can't see me, but I hope that you have a wonderful week. I hope you keep well, and I really do hope to see you again soon. And next week will be good for audio and video. Yay! Don't forget to love each other.
that suspicion he's emptying cobwebs of the night, all the others.
Oh, you like Miss Marple? There's better than me.
There's nothing in it, huh?